Welcome to the Backpacking and Blisters podcast. Thank you for joining us. With me today is Ben McAuliffe. What's going on, brother?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good because, again, we're talking about strange things to do on the trail, and we got a fun guest today, our good buddy Rocky Brown. He's going to be here in a minute, but let me start off with a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten to camp so early that you've gotten bored?
I don't think so, because when I get to camp, usually I'm like out of dad mode, out of husband mode, and it's just me and some friends. And so it's like chill is okay. Like sitting by the lake, just hanging out, maybe prepping a meal early, all that. Like, you know, that's the fun stuff. A little bit more relaxing. How about you? Do you get there?
If I'm with buddies, I'm the same as you. It's more, I think this probably applies more to solo people that might just have too much time on their hands, or maybe they like that. They like that time alone. But when I've gone backpacking solo, I typically, if I get to camp too early, I just keep on going. So
I guess I'll hike another 20 miles today to get to the next campsite.
I remember going, like, I was on the Pacific Crest Trail in Washington one time. And I got to a junction. I was planning on stopping here. And then it was like next junction, 5 miles. I was like, oh, let's go to the next junction. It was too early. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's an issue for solo hikers, but if that is an issue, or even if it's not, we got things for you to do on the trail. We got lots of activity ideas here. So we'll get to that here in a second. Okay, this episode is brought to you by Enlightened Equipment. If you're looking for ultralight custom quilts that you can enjoy when you're not bored at camp, they can also help you get your base weight down so you can get to camp sooner to do all these great camp activities. Go to enlightenedequipment.com. All right, it is time for the Bible verse. But before we share the Bible verse, we got to bring in Rocky, man. We can't leave him hanging in the green room for too long. So
no, he'll get bored. He'll move on to the next podcast.
I never get bored.
There's the man. Rocky, aka Red River. What's up, buddy?
All sorts of stuff. How are you guys doing?
Good. Okay.
Good.
When you say all sorts of stuff, it makes me a little nervous. So you reminded me, I got to set some ground rules for the podcast. Cool. These are not new ground rules. Can you predict one of them?
Don't talk too much.
No, we want to hear from you. We want to hear Rocky, but we don't want to hear about football. This is not a football podcast.
Oh my god.
No football.
Oh, I gotta scratch one of my things off the list then.
Yeah. Rocky.
No. If you yeah. I know. I don't want you to scratch things on the list. I just don't want to hear about like A gap and B gap containment and wide receiver, like fast feet or like running routes, like none of that stuff.
Oh,
it's all gone. Deleted.
Rocky, about 2-3 episodes ago, we had a guest on and I kind of interviewed him, and Carl was like, the following episode, he's like, Ben, you did something wrong. You ridiculed the guest the minute we had him. You're like, tell us a story, but don't tell it in a timely manner. Like, keep it really quick. And now he's just doing the same thing to you. So, oh my, okay. I apologize.
Rocky, what's the difference between Ben having just met somebody and you and me telling that to you? What's the difference there?
You've told it to me many, many times for many, many years. I should already know it.
I've known Rocky for decades, Ben. It's not the same thing. But
okay, sorry. But I did have one extra question for Rocky. I didn't know if I had to have a question prepared, but what's the A gap?
A gap is the gap that's right by the center.
No.
Just a quick answer. That's it.
Yeah, he's trying to stir the pot, and it's working. All right.
Bible
verse the episode. It's Proverbs 31:13. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. How could that relate to backpacking, you wonder? Oh, we'll get to that. But I'll start with Rocky. Do you work eagerly with your hands, whatever that means?
Yeah, I do when it comes to teaching, coaching, getting stuff communicated to people, things like that. But I have to answer no when it comes to mechanical type stuff. And I think anybody who's been on the trail with me could attest to that. I'm just not the best with, mechanical hand, fix it type of duties and tasks.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're good at the opposite, right? Like breaking stuff.
Yeah. Oh, man. I hope to excel at that.
I like
until the
I
day
like how he
die.
danced around, like even mentioning football. He's like, so when I'm teaching and coaching, he's so,
I'm talking to young kids on a field. Yeah.
You picked up on that, Ben.
Yeah, he's so
You're
terrified.
perceptive, man. You're really good with guests, Ben. You know your guests well.
That's Rocky,
Yeah.
very nice and speaking falsely. All right, Ben, what? This is like your time to shine, man.
Yeah.
Are you good with your hands?
Oh yeah, that's basically all I do. Contractor, rancher, work with kids, just everything, all the time. So
Okay.
probably about the opposite. Like I can, like people will have kids over, teach them how to do construction, and they're nervous. They're like, what if I like take the chainsaw and cut this stud? I'm like, well, we'll brace the house up before you cut the stud then, and we'll we can fix anything. So it's all good. I like it. So
Yeah. And I've got like 3 or 4 on my list for this episode have to do with kind of working with your hands and not kind of sitting idle. And so that's kind of where this verse came from. So we'll get to that. But all right, I'm predicting like 20 strange things to do on the trail. These could be things that like we're sitting around camp. We have extra time. We got there early. It could be activities with friends and family. It could be while we're out on the trail in the middle of our hike, maybe during a rest stop. It could be while we're physically hiking. So kind of all the above. Sound good?
That sounds awesome.
we're all waiting for you to ask questions now.
I didn't know if there was going to be a question in there. I didn't want to jump the gun and answer it too soon.
You're good. Okay. All right. So we'll go Rocky, Ben, me, and we'll just cycle through as many as we can and see what you got. And I'm hoping for some ideas here to generate activities, inspire folks to do things out on the trail. Rocky, what you got?
Okay, so when we used to go backpacking way back when we first started, one of the games that you used to play, Carl, I'm pretty sure you remember well, was a movie game. And you would ask, you'd say an actor, and then you'd have to say how many movies that person was in, or you'd go around and say a movie that person, and then whoever didn't get it was out type thing. So from that actually comes my first one, which is I like to think about movies while I'm hiking if I'm not talking to anybody.
Okay.
So what's your go-to movie to think about? Like which one do you usually start with?
Usually The Passion of the Christ.
Okay.
And then second would be Lord of the Rings. And then third would be Star Wars.
Okay. That's right up all
I remember it differently, I'll be honest. I've thought it was more of like a category game where it could be movies or actors or actresses, whatever. And then you had to come up with as many answers that related to whatever the topic was until you were out. So it's kind of as you're hiking, right?
Yeah. You started doing that more in 04, 05, and 06. From 2000 to about 2003, it was more say an actor, Mel Gibson, and then name movies that he was in. And then,
Braveheart.
First, right. The Patriot.
I like how Rocky knew the years. Like from this year to this year, we did this way. From this year to this year, we changed it.
Something changed in 03, 04. I don't know what it was.
I just remember we did like types of cheese one time, and we just kind of cycled through, and we got through a lot of types of cheese.
That was only a couple years ago up in Canada. Not even 2 years ago.
No. That was the second time we'd done that. We did that in Yosemite. Okay, now we're getting down a rabbit hole. But yeah, we've done. So category game. I think this is good for people that are struggling because it kind of takes their mind off of their struggles and they have to think about something else. Could be kids too. You can do anything. You could be like 80s kid shows, or if your kids are along, like types of candy, and you can kind of go on forever, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's always like the alphabet one where you're just like, all right, I'll think of a state with the letter A in it or whatever.
Yeah. You just took Rocky's category game and made it significantly more boring, Ben. So congratulations on that. Let's do states. We're talking about candy and kids shows. You're like, how about the alphabet?
He's making it educational at the same time.
Educational, trying to, homeschool dad.
That's right.
We try to. That's what we do,
Because education is always fun.
You can always throw numbers at kids, like what's 2 + 2 × 3, and just go for it.
Sounds like Ben is your first one, like tutor kids on the trail. Like you want to be like a math tutor.
I should change it. Like, bring a tutor and tutor. No, are you ready for mine?
Yeah,
we're good. All right, so mine is create bingo cards before the trail and then play them while on the trail. So my kids like to do that while we do car rides and road trips. But on the trail, it's fun to have it before. So like, think of the birds you're going in the area, the plants, or just crazy things you're going to see. My free one, my bingo space right in the middle is always poison oak. So that's always my free one.
Oh, so wait, so free means you don't have to see something, but you're saying that your free one, you have to see poison oak.
No, my free one is it's just always a given that it's going to be there. So,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Do they have, so when you say poison oak, are kids looking like in the bushes, or are they looking like on your skin for poison oak?
Either or. However, you can get creative. Yeah.
All right.
Is yours probably would be like a fake ranger, right? Or maybe
yeah, but
it's just
that's
a
too
ranger.
easy.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. Okay. So I'm trying to picture this. So you have a bingo card like in your hand, and as you're walking, you're putting like little stones to try to get bingo, or how's this working?
Or you can use markers or crayons or just.
But you're hiking with it in your hand though.
Yeah. I mean, I like holding stuff in my hands when I hike, and I think some people do, but yeah, or you just take it out and you're like, oh, I got it. And you see it and mark it off. It's one where you don't have to do it all the time. The cargo ride ones are fun because they make sliders. So you just slide it. You don't even have to carry a pencil, but
okay.
Yeah. So maybe we should market this, a hiking one. I don't know if they have a hiking one.
I think if you can make one, I was trying to think there's like a,
yeah.
Go ahead, Rocky.
No, I was about to say, if you make those, I'll buy some off of you for sure.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, they're expensive. They're like $80 a piece.
Well, I'm a teacher, so maybe I won't be buying them.
Yeah.
One
That's
per
funny.
kid every couple years or something.
One per kid. It's like a fun solo game, right?
By yourself. Well, I mean, you could do it as a solo hiker. So yeah.
It sounded like it could have been a competition too, where everybody's got their own different bingo card.
Yeah, it's all separate. Yeah, it's all separate, and then you just go through and do it. So maybe we should bring it on one of our trips if we get the adults complaining that we're going too fast, too slow, they're hungry or whatever. Just start throwing out bingo cards.
So
well, that's one on the card.
Market, get enough money, we'll be able to buy enough for everybody. Well, let's do it.
That's right. But one you just mentioned like a box would be like complaining adult, right? And then
that would be one.
Yeah. Okay. I think that takes some creativity, and there's probably some templates online where you can kind of make your own bingo card. So I think if you got a little bit of creativity, a little bit of experience on the trail, I think that's a good one for sure. So thumbs up on that one. All right. So mine. Okay. This one's actually not mine. My wife really wanted me to say this one, and this relates back to the Bible verse. Is she thinks it's a good idea for those that like to do this to knit or crochet on the trail. Like you got a scenic view, you're into that task, and bringing like the knitting needles or the yarn or the crochet hooks or whatever, like that's not very heavy. It's just kind of a fun, relaxing activity to do while you're hanging out in a cool spot. So not for me, but I think there's some folks who might like that.
I see it. I mean, if you're like hiking, say, end of the summer, getting into the cold, like if you start knitting and crocheting, you got socks made by the time you're needing them, right?
I know. That's ultralight.
That would be awesome. Get to camp and you have yourself a nice, comfortable thing to put on your foot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ben, that's genius, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do Shark Tank here. Change the episode title to Shark Tank.
Seriously, you're already making serious bank off your bingo cards. Now you're making stocks on the trail.
Right.
My grandma used to crochet all the time. And I could see her, even when she was probably in her 80s, hiking and crocheting at the same time. So there's got to be people out there that can do that.
Oh yeah. I was on a flight and a lady was like, that's how she relieved like her fear of landing and taking off was crocheting. And then I was in a college class and two people were crocheting. One was my daughter. And I'm like, put that away. Listen to the instructor. Like I found it disrespectful, but I guess they had to have something doing so they could, and she wound up doing better on the test than me. So maybe it worked. But,
yeah. So maybe you should start crocheting in
your
college class. Yeah.
I have thought about it.
That's funny. Okay. Round two, Rocky.
Okay. So still kind of I'm still thinking of the person on the trail by themselves, right? Okay. So in the same vein of movies or movie categories or connecting the dots with movies. One thing that I've started to do on the last few trips is take a story from the Bible and make it into my own movie in my head. I've got some good stuff up there, man, especially for the shipwreck with Paul in Acts 27 and 28. Like that one, I can see the wind howling, the storm raging, and then him and all the prisoners jumping off the ship, trying to swim to land in my brain really clearly at this point, because this has happened. I mean, I've thought through this probably the last 4 or 5 years on trips for at least 10 to 12 minutes in there, I'd say.
So tell yourself stories that are based on the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like movies, but turn them into movies.
Visual.
Yeah. Does it ever become like where you're like reaching for a snake because you're thinking like you're Paul on Malta and you're like, you see a snake and you're like, it's okay, I got it, guys.
No, not yet, but that might be a good thing to add, because that would definitely make for a pretty good section of a B&B video, I would think.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Ben?
Yeah, there's Rocky building ships in the middle of the trail.
No, I'd be just giving you the idea, Ben, and then you'd actually be the one building it, because I'm not very good with my hands.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, you could be the Samson one, just destroying stuff along the trail and tearing it down.
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, man, with a goatee hook song in the back, Samson. Oh, man.
Dude, everybody likes the guy destroying stuff on the trail. That's the most popular guy on the trail right there. That's right. Okay.
Drawing the scold to the group for his destruction. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ben, what you got?
Right. My next one, leapfrog down the trail. And this doesn't mean like leapfrog where like you're jumping over everyone, but leapfrogging. So everyone has a time to lead. And set the pace. It can be fun if you kind of want to get adrenaline going. People are complaining. It's like, all right, I'm going to set the pace, and maybe I'm like running a little bit or walking a little bit faster. And then the last person has to try to catch up and get around. And once they get around, then they set the pace, and you just kind of keep going. Just kind of fun.
That sounds fun for me, and that probably sounds fun for Rocky. And for
it sounds like a blast.
But so it's fun. So what's wrong with it?
If it's us three, that totally works. I don't know that we would need that to keep moving, because you guys are fast backpackers. But I'm thinking of like literally every single group I've ever been with in the last probably 10 years. And there's at least one, likely more people who are like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's fine. I want to see him do it. Like we'll have to, like, I'll yell it on the Patreon. We'll just go and be like, all right, leapfrog time, and see if anyone does it.
That's an interesting one. I have not heard that one. We used to do that, like going around the track, like training for basketball or something, but I hadn't thought about that for the trail. That's a creative one. I like that.
That one's awesome. Straight up awesome.
Which one do you got?
I got one that I've talked about, borderline complained about for years now. I'd love somebody else to try this, and that is trail magic. So trail magic for through hikers is like where somebody's giving you like a soda in the middle of the trail, like in an unexpected spot. And so play on words is like, whatever it was, like 4 years ago, I had a trail magic show where I brought the hat, the fake mustache, the cape, gloves, and I actually like learned magic tricks to do and perform them for not only my group but for strangers on the trail. And it went over like a lead balloon. Like it did not go over well. It was not well. But I think that now that I've seen like what to do, I think I can fix it for the future and just make sure that it's, like at the beginning or the end of the day and in a popular spot. And I think that you can raise morale, not only of your own group, but of passersby or other people that are camping near you with some trail magic.
I see it. I think you got to learn more like the David Blaine street magic, where it's quick, it's right there on the trail. Like you walk by someone and you're like taking your thumb off. You're like, look,
whoa,
the thumb, whoa, or the wobbly pencil. Like you got to learn some quick ones. You don't have to set up a table. I think your execution. I think you said that, like the execution was bad because you had to wait for people and people were, wondering what was going on.
Hey, I didn't say my tricks were bad though. You're challenging my tricks and you don't even know what tricks I did.
I didn't say
like you gotta get execution. Like get better tricks.
You said execution.
You don't even know what tricks I did.
I can just imagine.
You said nothing about your tricks. Your tricks were awesome. Part of the problem was none of us supported you, and I want to apologize for that after all these years, because I should have led the charge. I should have known what you were doing, but I just decided to just keep filtering water. And I didn't get to your show until probably I was
second
I think
act.
it was halfway.
I don't want to
through.
hear any more apologies. This is not a passive aggressive way to get an apology. This
I'm
is
not
an
sure-
ideas episode, Rocky.
I
So,
know, but I still
get over it.
It's not. It wasn't right, and I just wanted to say I'm
Well,
sorry.
next time it'll give Carl time to catch the rabbit out in the wild and train it and
There you go.
have it pop on
I
his
don't-
hat. So
Yeah, I'm editing out the apology. This is not a like we gotta come to peace about this. This is an ideas episode. For whatever reason, it didn't work the first time. It's gonna work the second time, and maybe that'll be on like a future Patreon trip where people actually care.
Okay, well, no, hey, no, I got an idea for it. I think this is because I've thought about this. One thing that can make it better, you know how people have hype men, stuff like that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have like a speaker that does all the crowd engagement and gets people over to you, and then you do the tricks.
Okay.
So
I'll
I'll
do it.
stand
Basically, you or Ben.
on the sign, yeah, holding a sign like magic this way, and people are just like, no, we're going this way.
Yeah, use the
Exactly.
phrase "step right up," right?
Yeah.
It's
Carl's
exactly
gonna
what I
guess
was thinking.
your birthday, your age, or your weight on the trail.
Yeah. But real okay, we're talking, and I don't want this focus to be on me because we're trying to generate ideas for folks out there. And some of the crazy ideas we've generated on our podcast, people have actually done, and it's been really interesting.
Yeah.
So if somebody else can pull this off and have some sort of like video or photographic evidence, like that would be amazing. I would love that. And so, especially if you've got kids, like kids love that stuff. So
Yeah.
do that on a kids backpack trip or a Boy Scout trip or something. So, all right, enough about that one. Round 3, Rocky, your turn.
Okay. Still in the thinking category while walking. This actually applies to our group really well because it always happens with me. Create football plays for my offense. It's really not my offense. It's the other coach's offense. It's, it's his, but he allows us to tweak it. And a lot of times when I'm in my day-to-day, route, I know it's called a routine, but I'm calling them routes because I like wide receiver routes. A lot of times I can't think of, with enough clarity to really create a good play. Out on the trail, way different. I get a lot of great ideas out there. And it's funny too, they'll happen in conversations that have nothing to do with football. Usually just conversations about the Lord, about life, about stuff going on with our marriage. And it causes me to think of a play. Case in point, I was talking to a couple of guys we were hiking with last summer. And it made me think of a play that I actually used twice. Both times I got a first down off of it in pretty pressure situations. Pretty awesome.
And there, folks, is your football moment of the episode.
I think what happens is he's walking straight and he comes to like a fork in the trail. And he's like, this could be how my wide receivers split. I have one go left, one go right.
We're going to call this route the split route.
Ben, you're like reading my mind. Seriously,
Yeah.
Ben, there's some sort of connection here, man.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
Kind of what happens, what you described, really.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to talk about football anymore. So, Ben, you're up. Go ahead.
All right. So mine's bringing a football on the trail. And no, it's not. I'm kidding. All right. Mine is.
That's what I thought
mine is
Rocky
always-
was going to say. That's what he does.
That one's later.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Mine is when you get to camp, and this one's fun, is you just cook a meal and then you gotta switch it with somebody. So it's and it could be set up so each time someone like one person has to say it. So it's random. So say we're doing like a 7-day trip together. One night I say it, one time Carl says it, one time like Rocky says it. You don't want to do it every time, because then there's some meals
So you can't sabotage.
No.
Okay. So if I've got like a Mountain House fried rice, which is I think one of the worst meals I've ever had,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, I'm switching tonight with Ben, who's got a Peak Refuel, whatever.
The
Thai
apple,
curry.
the peach cobbler that
Yeah.
I wanted to eat. Yeah. No, and you could do that because it's like, it puts the guessing game. Because then strategy is like, all right, we use 2 out of the 3. I think I'm safe to eat my good meal now, So I don't know.
Dude, that's so demoralizing if you get a bad meal. If somebody gave me the fried rice and I had a good one, and I had to give up a good one, and I had to eat that, and I'm like, we had a hard day, let's say.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like so hungry and I want the nice warm meal, and then that's what you gave me. Dude, I think I would like
he's raging.
No,
I can see that.
Ben, this could actually work. This could actually work. All you have to do is preface the whole trip by calling it the white elephant backpacking trip
Oh my gosh.
or white elephant
is-
meal.
Yeah. The white
That's a
elephant
crazy
meal.
one.
Carl's just mad.
Dude,
Wait, just the thought of it is demoralizing him. Like he's already like ready to pout, checked himself out of the podcast. He's done.
Totally.
Like, yeah.
I know. I'm quitting.
What if,
No,
Carl, what if you get a salmon pesto and you're able to hand it to Derek?
I know.
But it could work in your favor.
Yeah.
Say it's your turn to
Exactly.
change it. And you
I mean,
could look at
salmon
me and be
pesto
like,
is like the ultimate.
yeah, I want the bison bowl over there, and I got Mountain House. I think it's time to switch. You know, and now you switch. But I think it'd be fun because sometimes it's like, you know, I only get the peak refuels, sometimes Mountain Houses, but you got the other people that get other ones, and so it could be a good time to try different ones. Now, if there's one you hate, hopefully your group's good enough. Like, dude, can we trade it? And hopefully they do. You know, but yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I just love the creativity, man. Like the creativity is great. I'm just thinking practicality. Honestly, if it's like an easy day, like we put in just kind of like not a lot of elevation gain, 8 or less miles, I'd probably be like whatever. But if it was just a hard day, it'd be a hard pill to swallow. So
yeah, I'll keep that in mind if we do a hard day.
But creativity for sure.
Like, time to trade.
Bring all your worst meals, Ben. Say switch every meal, not every night.
No, because what happens is I bring the bad ones, and usually they're the ones I like. Carl loves. Like I don't like the chicken curry, and those are the ones like Carl loves. So I'd be like, hey, you want to trade it? I got this one. Oh, I love those. Thanks, man. That was the best meal ever. You know, and it wouldn't work so well.
Well, that's what we could do is you could have like a, you know, that could be like a pre-trip activity, right? So now I'm thinking like a bonus activity here where you bring a lot of the food items that maybe you accumulated. Maybe you bought more than one. You try one, you're like, I don't like it. And you just trade. You're like, okay, I got an extra this or that. I'll trade for, you know, your Scratch Labs weird flavor. And then you just kind of move around. Anyway. Okay. My next idea, I want to do, this is not just like an activity. This is kind of like a themed activity for an entire trip. And I want to make a Patreon trip out of this. So, oh yeah, dude, I think this would be perhaps the most popular Patreon trip ever.
Oh.
And that is that. So you limit it. The cap is 9.
Okay.
And everybody is a character in Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
so maybe you could do like
brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was gonna be a different theme, like ugly sweater theme or something. You know.
Yeah,
but
that's thanks for making my good idea boring. Well done. All right. So you could have more than 9, I guess, and bring in some of the female characters like Arwen or Eowyn and those guys. So that way we can include everybody. But you got to dress up. You got to be in costume. You got to have weapons. I'm going to hire people to play the role of like orcs and Uruk-hai, and they're going to randomly jump out of the forest and the mountains at us.
Gosh.
And you got to fight them off, not like maim them or hurt them. And there's going to be some sort of goal. So maybe we're bringing a ring. Maybe we're like hiking in Hawaii and we're going to like drop in a volcano or something. I don't know. But there's got to be there's going to be a purpose. We have a mission, and it's going to be a hard mission, not a guaranteed success.
I like it. So I think that's fun. I don't know about the hiring. That can be expensive on low budgets. But I think that could be fun. I was thinking like Monty Python, where like someone could go behind me with like coconut shells and pretend I'm on a horse, you know? Like, would that work?
You're doing a great job of taking my good idea and then just trashing it. Like that's a good idea, but here's a worse idea.
I talk to Rocky, he's like, dude, you just made my idea better. And you're like, what are you doing? My idea is like worse. Like you're just don't talk when I talk, man. Please. Like
you don't want me to hire the orcs. There's no enemies. And then now you're saying, but not Lord of the Rings, an entirely different movie.
We'll make it better. Let's hire Peter Jackson to be like the leader of our trip. And
now you're talking.
Yeah, and just have him come in. Right. Is that better? Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
All right.
Thanks.
So if you want to join Patreon, the price now is $25 million a person to join.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's a great idea. But I just have to ask before we go any further, are you going to really do that? Because that's awesome.
I think so. Not in 2025 because we already put the trips out, but based on the feedback I get from this episode, if everybody's like, that's the worst idea ever, or I like Ben's idea about Monty Python instead, then that'll determine it. But
well, no, I was just saying, like you don't have to do Lord of the Rings. I was just doing a different movie. So yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. Three Stooges. Yeah. We got
taking
Three Stooges
my idea and completely changing it. That's not what I'm after. Yeah.
Three Musketeers.
What if, hey Ben, you want to trade meals? What if instead of trading meals, you just bring trail mix and eat it? How about that? Like that's the same idea, right?
Wow. Rocky comes on, you become a bully. You know that? Like, I can't wait to hear the reviews after this. Like, Carl is so mean to his co-hosts and his guests. Like,
mean. You're wrecking my ideas. You're making my ideas worse, and then telling them that your idea is better. Your version is better than my idea.
You're just sore because you're pretending to eat like really bad Mountain House meals right now. That's what's
that's probably true.
Really, what's happening is Carl's creativity is just spurring your creativity on, Ben, and you're taking this thing and running with it in a bunch of different directions.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I'm sure that's what it is, and then it's just hard to keep up with. But I
feel like we're marriage counseling right now. I feel like it's like trying to find the peace for me and Carl.
Okay, Rocky, for those getting back to the ideas,
okay.
If you like the Lord of the Rings idea, let me know. And when I say dress up in costume, I mean like not just the cheesy $5 costume you get at Party City. I'm talking like you got to either you got to put some effort into it. So if I like it, I
like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I know that Zach from Kentucky, who went on our Patreon trip last year. Shout out to Zach. He's all in on this. So anyway, all right, Rocky, round 4.
Okay. You already kind of said it. It's bring a football or bring some type of games, some type of surprise type of games. In the past, what some of the guys from our summer crew have done is one of them actually brought horseshoes. I'm sure some of the B&B listeners have heard that story. Some actual metal horseshoes. And there were some epic games of horseshoes at just a great campsite in the middle of Maroon Bells. On that same trip, another person brought a badminton net and badminton rackets. Awesome stuff.
Cool.
And then the football thing, it's really, it's fantastic. Probably the highlight of that one was it's we always throw it around when I bring one for sure. We use it quite a bit, but there's times where random strangers will get involved and it's pretty awesome. Shout out to whoever this guy was, because he just rode off into the sunset after he did this, but he sees me with football. He's like, blue 88, said hike, runs past me and like makes the actual running back handoff deal.
Yeah.
I hand it to him. He runs down the trail, probably about 30, 40 yards, turns around
through the A gap.
Back.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the B gap. Oh.
He went right past me. I mean, he went basically up the middle. So it was probably a zone run, because he couldn't tell exactly which gap, but he would have ended up in the A gap.
Yeah.
Then turns around and chucks it back, throws a dot right to me from 30 yards away. And this guy, he had gray hair, so he must have been a little bit older. Bringing footballs, bringing games, bocce ball, always a winner too. Those are pretty much at this point musts for our group on the trail. Pretty sure other people, if they haven't done it and they do it, it's gonna be the same thing for them.
I'm picturing me like coming into your group for the first time and just seeing like rolling hills, lakes, and it's like I walked into a retirement community where there's like shuffleboard, badminton, horseshoes.
And I'm the bully. I'm the bully in this episode, right?
Heard it first here, guys. Carl admits it.
I'm telling Ben his ideas are good. Ben's just like wrecking Rocky and my ideas, and then he's like, "But Carl's bullying." Anyway, all right. So lots of games, game options. Ben, what you got?
All right. My next one would be play hide and seek from fellow hikers not in your group. So just kind of pranking, like doing pranks. So like someone comes and you guys all hide behind trees, and so when they walk past, you're just kind of peering out, like they have no idea why.
Wait, you're like they're hiking by, you're peering out at them so they can see you.
Well, I mean, you can try to hide, but it's more fun if like they can kind of see you and they're like, "What is happening?" I mean, picture walking by and like that. So like those would be good fun times for me. It's like just not the stupid pranks where you're putting like weights in people's backpacks, but just a fun thing to do for people that like pass by. They obviously
that's
see
super fun for them. They wouldn't get creeped out, right?
Right. I hope not. Wow. Way to destroy my idea.
God. Oh my gosh. Okay. So just to clarify, these are people you don't know, and you're like semi hiding behind the tree, peeking out of them, staring at them, maybe going like bug eyed, like, ooh. And
Now you're making my
you're
idea
not
worse.
saying
Like,
anything.
creepy.
They're just walking by and you stare at them so they can kind of see you. Is that correct?
Well, you don't have to stare at them, but you can try to hide. So, if you want to make it fun where they kind of can see you, but you can try to hide and see if they notice you. So, yeah.
And you have no rapport with them.
No, none. I mean, like most of the time on the trail. Yeah.
I don't need to say anything. Okay.
No
No
If you
comments.
play it the way that Ben would probably play it, it might, really engage people and help them have a better time on the trail too. Because I'm pretty sure Ben is not going to be like some of the groups that we've seen that definitely give that kind of creepy type of vibe, right? Pretty sure Ben's going to play it in a way where, there's no rapport with the person, but they'll be able to figure out through body language and stuff like that it's meant in good fun. That's just that's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. I think so. There's a couple times where it got a little sketchy when I was a fake ranger, but
admitting to it. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say no comment on this one.
Yeah.
Do at your own risk. How about that?
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Perfect. All right. Ultralight option. Shave weight by not bringing any sort of eating utensil. When you get to camp, whittle the utensil out of a piece of wood, out of a stick. Make your own utensil.
And are you bringing so you're saving weight by not bringing a utensil, but you're bringing a knife? Or you using
a knife's already in my pack. I got the 1-inch knife.
Oh, okay.
You might need a bigger knife, actually, to be honest. For those of you who have not graduated to the 1-inch knife, who probably already have a bigger knife, this is not adding any weight. This is taking away weight. And then you just kind of have an activity when you get to camp.
Yeah, whittling. That's a basic activities.
No, it's not basic. It's next level because you're shaving weight by leaving something at home that you now have to create in the backcountry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to make fun of it, go ahead. Just pick
go
ahead.
I already did.
Okay.
I think it's fun. I mean, that's something though that you sit around and people will like make a toothpick or something, or just I think all I've ever done with whittling is just making spears, because that's about all I can do is just keep the knife away from me and just keep going. So
okay.
It's kind of a step up from crochet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Rocky, do we have one more round in us? This is round 5.
I have one more. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I have about 8 or 9 more. Really. I don't know if 4 of them are very good.
Well, you better, because Carl prefaced this with 20. 20
he did.
ideas. And there's 3
we've dug in.
Each one has 5 or 6 people, 5 to 6 ideas. And that's why I was silent as I'm counting. Like there's 18 max, but okay. Yeah.
There's always, I knew Rocky had more. So we'll just, okay. Give us your best last one that doesn't relate to football. What you got?
Okay. I'm trying to decide between 2. I'm going to go with something that I think people have become somewhat familiar with, the fact that I've done in the past, and that is bring a sword. It's great for.
You want others to bring a
Just
sword.
bring a sword.
You want others. Okay.
I can't tell you how many benefits there are from it if you're willing to carry the weight. If you want to go anti, lightweight stuff, anti ultralight, so maybe ultra heavy. It can be a great walking stick. It can hack through unwanted brush in front of you. It could help you at least maybe put up a little bit of a fight against a bear. It also can whittle, but usually bigger things and a little more clumsily than a precise 1-inch knife.
You can't whittle with a sword.
I want to see that. I'll have to hold the stick for him so he can get the right leverage.
I think next trip, that's what has to happen.
One benefit I see of that is if we're switching out meals, are you gonna take a meal from Rocky that has a sword? Like, I mean, all he has to do is kind of pull out his sword, and it's like, all right, you keep your meal tonight. I think we're okay.
I don't know, man. When you get ravenous, you want to do a lot of stuff.
If you he's right though, Carl. If you had a sword and somebody goes, switch, right, and you've got your best meal, you got your A game meal, you just hold up the sword and say no.
Yeah, use it. You use that to cut open your package. And
see,
Yeah.
It's also
Hide
a
and
can
seek,
opener, a package
you know,
opener.
if people are playing hide and seek creepily bug-eyed, like, you know, they walk by, I'm gonna hide. I'm not gonna try to stare at them.
Yeah.
I'll lay deeper in the poison oak.
The sword thing, yeah, I don't know if other people are bringing swords or if they have access to a sword. Here's a funny sword story. We never did like a recap of our trip from last summer because Derek hasn't been on since then. We had the Desolation Wilderness trip, and so I think we're gonna eventually get to that when Derek's back on the show. But one of the funny things was part of the trip we were on the Pacific Crest Trail like at peak season, but we're hiking the opposite direction. So there's all these PCT through hikers hiking past us. Like it was like a highway at one point. And Rocky's out there with his sword. And so like the first couple, people are like, oh, you got a sword. And then they talk to him about it. But then like after 30 or 40, it's not quite as fun to have that conversation. Oh, you got a sword. And so anyway, I felt really bad for him.
That's where I think I would have tried to like get rocks and like pretending he's like on a horse just to make it more enjoyable, you know?
Yeah, you want to go back to Monty Python. All right. Okay. Okay.
Well, somebody's going to bring, because somebody's going to do that Lord of the Rings idea if you don't, Carl. And somebody's going to bring a sword.
Oh, I'm sure somebody already has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think there's several videos of people actually doing Lord of the Rings characters with weapons, including swords. So
that's the movies.
Not
that's
a totally new idea, but
no, but we would go next level. We got to make it creative. Anyway, last idea that I've got. This is something that I plan to do actually on that same trip as Trail Magic. I was going to do this activity instead, and I've never come back to it. I think Ben and I've talked about this actually. And it's kind of another version of Trail Magic, but more in like the traditional sense. Is like I looked up on the Oriental Trading Company if you could buy one of those like portable lemonade stands. There's like cardboard ones, and then set up a lemonade, like a backcountry lemonade stand where you're handing out like cups of lemonade to passersby.
Yeah.
And I think you can do it for like not counting the lemonade, which I guess you're just bringing the powder and some cups, I suppose. But so not counting the lemonade, I think it was like under 4 pounds. You could do it.
Yeah. I mean, I bring 4 giant water bottles and we could just have that with lemonade next time.
Whoa.
No, but it's the stand. It's like the full-on cardboard stand.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the jar. You got to have a jar where they get the money though, too. Like you have to go all in.
Yeah, I wasn't going to charge. I was just going to be nice, Ben.
Oh. Well, I would charge.
Oh, because it's Trail Magic, right? So you're just giving it away.
People don't have like dollar bills on them as they're like.
But maybe they give you gear. Like it's like, oh, I mean, if you want to leave a tip of like, you know, a snack or something you have or a
carabiner.
You know? Yeah.
Or like here's like a Z-Packs tent. I got an extra. Here you go.
Yeah.
$1,000 tent. Thanks. You can have 2 lemonades.
Actually, take them all because I'm done carrying this stuff. So here it is.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think you could probably burn it in the fire when you're done. So if you keep carrying it once you've done the activity.
Oh, I wouldn't even burn it. I would just leave it up so somebody would be like, "Why is there a lemonade?"
Oh my gosh.
Nowhere?
Yeah. Then you're really good at littering. I forgot about that.
Just put a sign in there. We'll be back in like 10 minutes and see if people are just sit there for like 15, 20 minutes waiting.
Yeah. Ben, last one for you. What you got?
Well, mine is just to bring you, Carl, because you're the activity guy. You like to do Jeopardy. You bring out you make sure everyone's engaged. Just a fun time. So that's what I would. It's not a strange thing, not a weird thing, but my favorite time was when you did Jeopardy and everybody wanted more when you ran out of questions, and you literally looked at me and it looked like you're like, I want to be anywhere but here right now because this is getting insane. But you did it.
That's not the look I gave you. No.
I know. I thought it was, but it was fun.
No. Here's the look. Here's the look is that okay? I don't know how far down we want to go with this, but
go for it.
It took a while to come up with 30 stinking questions, and it was like the response was like by somebody like, "That's all you got."
And I was like,
what? Like, yeah, exactly.
Fun. Yeah,
I know.
Because there's 2 rounds of Jeopardy, and you only prepared for 1, and I think that's what threw us off. So
silly me, only coming up with 30 questions based on categories they chose. My bad on that one.
But you had it arranged like somebody told you that they were bringing a piñata. You knew about that, and I mean, you just make it fun. So
that's nice.
That's what I got. Yeah, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So bring me to come on a Patreon trip is what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
did I accidentally
Totally agree.
put that in there? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, it's kind of like a backdoor. It's not, it's kind of a compliment, but then if you're saying like, come on a Patreon trip, because Carl will entertain you. You can expect like set your expectations high because every trip he's going to add more and more
he
things.
He found me out. Yeah.
So
Well,
if he doesn't do 10
I
things
missed
to
out on
entertain you
the
camp, it's a
badminton,
disappointment.
On the shuffleboard, the horseshoes. Like I want you with your clipboard having me tell me what to do at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and so on. So
it's like a retreat with no free time, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you give a speech at some point while you're at it there? Oh my god.
Well, now you just made the idea worse.
So there you go. Yeah, 15 ideas, strange things to do on the trail, in camp, while you're hiking, even sometimes before you're hiking. So which one are you most likely to do? Did we inspire any sort of creativity or thoughts or things to make your trips more fun? Please let us know. We'd appreciate that. Okay, so Rocky's going to hang around for trivia. Ben, what's the trivia this week?
Trivia. Well, Derek is coming back soon. And so I got Derek's trivia that he's told you in the past.
Oh, okay. Coming up
Yeah.
right for this. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Rowan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Rowan uses rock solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. This episode and Dare Trivia is brought to us by the Ultralight high-quality gear at Teton. I was on their Instagram page today, and they have a video of a camping trip where people have like swum out to a rock in a lake, and then they just started jumping off the rock into the water. Do you guys do that?
Oh, of course.
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always.
Every
That's
chance possible.
Not me. Sorry. That's not one of my
You need somebody to wait
activities.
on shore just in case, it goes bad. So
Yeah, to press the red button. Okay.
yeah.
We need.
All right. There you go. That's bonus. Now we're up to we have 16 straight things to do on the trail, although I think that's a common one. All right, Ben, trivia, what you got?
All right. So this is trivia questions Derek has asked you in the past. So this comes from episode 111. You guys were talking about the national parks, and so this was it. He went back to 2017. I think this came out in like 2018, 2019. Well, the National Park Service, leave no trace. How much was spent in search and rescue operations? Multiple choice. A, 1.2 million, B, 3.3 million, or C, 7.7 million.
Wait a second. I'm confused by the question. You're saying leave no trace, but now you're saying search and rescue. What's the connection?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what he asked. So I almost wrote it word for word.
Wait a second. You went
I'm gonna
back
go
and
back.
listened to this. Was I confused at the time too?
You were confused about the number. I think
Okay.
he might have asked, like, put something in there. But yeah, it had
Who
to do
knows?
with
How are we supposed to know this stinking question?
Yeah.
All right, Rocky, you can go first, and I'll just guess a different one, whatever you say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with C. 7.7 million.
All right, I'll go with
Just
B,
because
the
it's
middle
the highest
one.
number.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the episode, Carl, you took C, 7.7 million. It's actually B, 3.3. So you got it right this time, Carl.
I got it right this time.
Only because Rocky took the answer that he usually
Probably.
go with. Yeah. You were actually,
Probably.
when he asked this, you actually went off on like more the, well, does this, like, what does it mean, the operations? Is that the operation side, or is this just like what they charge people?
At the time, there was way more on the line. We haven't put anything on the line, so I probably was like a lot more hypersensitive about the question. So,
Right. All right.
that's funny.
All right. This one comes from episode 66. So going way back.
Yeah.
You should bring this item on a trip, or this is what you said. He said you should bring this item on a trip, Carl, and you learn through hardship you should have brought this item, but you did not. What was it?
Multiple choice?
No.
Open-ended. So this is
I
open-ended.
think because you guys had a trail or a trip like pretty pretty recent to this trivia because you knew right away. You're like, is it that? And he's like, of course it is. So do you remember?
Oh, I got it right. Okay.
Yeah, you got it right.
But this is not a good trivia question because people can't play along with this. Nobody else has a guess on this, right?
I don't care if it's good or not. This is Derek
Okay.
trivia, and it's a question he asked you.
This is thematic, and he's staying within the theme.
Yeah.
I totally.
Rocky, you've been here since day one. Do you know what it would be like? Do you have a guess?
There's a vague memory in there. I want to. Oh man. I mean, I want to say map. I want to say trowel. I want to say one other thing of headlamp, but I don't think it's any one of those three.
I'll give you a clue. It starts with mini.
Mini?
Mini. Yeah, something smaller.
I was thinking pillow.
No. You want to hear it now? You ready?
Yeah.
Mini tweezers.
Oh.
What?
I
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I think it was this. That might have been the trip that you actually brought them, or maybe you said you had them and then you didn't. But yeah, that was the answer.
Well, we're on this is like our 334th episode, and that you went back to what was it, 110, 111?
He went to 111 and 66.
Yeah, 66.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Season
Ben,
6.
this is awesome, man. Keep it growing. Keep it rolling.
Season 6. I didn't see the episode next to this number, so but you guys were doing your SOS calls. Which sliver of the pie for SOS calls was used the least? Was it paddle sports, flying, missing people, or other?
Oh, not other. It's got to be.
No.
Rocky, what do you got? You want to guess?
I'm gonna go with paddle sports.
I'll go flying.
That's right, flying. You got it right on this one. And
Wow.
your justification was, well, I've hit the red button for missing people, so I don't think it's for missing people because I'm part of that number. So I grew the sliver of the pie. So it must be flying. And that was your justification, is because you did one, so it can't be that.
Okay. So I was right, though, right?
Yeah. Yep. You got it
So
right.
Okay.
So wait, you got it right both times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that double extra?
I know it's got to be worth something extra,
Yeah.
and it speaks
Yeah.
to Carl's consistency. Well done.
Right. Good job.
Yeah. All right. So Rocky went 0 for 3, which is like a big no-no with trivia. So I think that the punishment is you are going to be dressing like an orc on our Lord of the Rings trip for free. Where you're not charging us. You're going to attack people with a sword that you already have. We got to fend you off. How about that?
That's a fantastic punishment. That doesn't sound like
Okay.
much of a punishment, actually.
I'll be Smeagol and I'll just like crawl through the underbrush and around.
There you go.
You guys have fun getting attacked.
That's right.
Just
That's
duck
right. All
everything, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That is awesome.
All right, I just got a couple quick tidbits. So as Ben mentioned, we got Derek coming back in a couple weeks, and that's the plan to start off our new year, 2025, and our season 8. And we kind of been throwing around the Patreon trip thing. We put out an episode a couple weeks ago on Patreon with our 2025 Patreon trip. So if you're interested in checking that out, we would love to have you as part of the Patreon family. Thank you, Rocky, for joining us and talking some creative nonsense here. I had a lot of fun, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rocky.
man. Ben, Carl, seriously, this is a blast. Carl, really appreciate you putting it all together. I don't know how you do everything you do.
Man, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Yeah, just remember, if you're not on the trail having fun, you're not on the trail.
Have a good week and God bless everybody.